What's up, losers? Today I'm back with some more r/niceguys shenanigans. Checking out some cringy, and occasionally disturbing, posts and messages, from some of the nicest men you could ever hope to meet, and sharing my responses to them. This is episode 17 in the Niceguys series. And I'm ready to hear all about the many sins of women. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I'm sick of men being shamed for getting irritated by mediocre women who are less attractive than them, blowing them off. I think every one of us is sick of hearing, "Women don't owe you sex." This is the immediate response anytime a guy voices his frustration with the insanely inflated egos of most women now, from online dating and social media. Call him an incel, or remind him that he isn't entitled to women's bodies. Where the frick did this stupid shit come from? I'll tell you where. The same place as the labeling of all men as abusive trash. Because they choose to date these types. But there is absolutely nothing wrong, or unreasonable, about getting annoyed with constantly being blown off by women less attractive than you. Physical beauty is objective, to a degree, so no, women do not decide who is hot and who is not, especially when they fawn over dudes like Robert Pattinson and Post Malone. Get the frick out.
Okay, first of all, what on earth is this guy talking about when he says that women like Robert Pattinson and Post Malone? I'm genuinely flabbergasted. Those are not two names that I ever expected to see put together in a sentence like that. Especially not when it comes to basic conventional attractiveness. Like, I've got nothing but love for Post Malone. He's got some really good songs. And I'm sure he's a nice dude. But he's certainly not someone I would consider super conventionally attractive. He's pretty average in that regard. Whereas Robert Pattinson is, well, Robert Pattinson. He's probably one of the prettiest dudes on earth, haha. The post seems to be suggesting that women don't know what real attractiveness is, because they like Robert Pattinson. And to that I can only say, if you don't recognize how conventionally attractive Robert Pattinson is, and you see no difference between him and Post Malone, I think it's you who doesn't understand the so-called objective standards of physical beauty. All of this is probably making it sound like I have something against Post Malone, and like I have a massive crush on Robert Pattinson. But I can assure you, neither of these is true. Well, the second one might be a teensy bit true, haha. But really I'm just trying to point out how clueless this guy is. Like, even if we're going to accept his rigid ideas about how attractiveness should work in the dating market, he still clearly has no idea what he's even talking about, haha. But anyway, all of that aside, this guy really is a miserable asshole. Isn't he? Like, he really seems to think that society should obey a strict attractiveness hierarchy, where attractive people are entitled to date anybody they want. Unattractive people should know their place, and not attempt to punch above their weight, by presuming to take an interest in people more attractive than they are. And nobody should care at all about matters so trivial as, I don't know, personality, morality, values, mutual compatibility, because all that really matters is the way someone looks. I don't know about anyone else, but I sure wouldn't want to live in a society that structured itself along these lines. I mean, people are superficial enough to begin with. The idea of making looks even more central than they already are is horrifying. Not to be dramatic, but where's the damn humanity? The way this guy describes women he views as unattractive, but still wants to sleep with, for some reason, as mediocre, and as having insanely inflated egos, for wanting to go after men that they actually like, is honestly just gross. People are allowed to pursue whomever they please. for whatever reason, and they sure as shit don't have to submit themselves to you. Just because you think that you're objectively more attractive. Give me a fricking break. So in summary, if anyone is mediocre, and has an inflated ego, it's not women, who are just living their lives, it's pathetic, whiny, entitled little losers like you, who are so toxic and insufferable, that nobody would date you if you were the best looking person on earth. Which, for what it's worth, I highly doubt.
Hope your Wednesday hasn't sucked.
Lol, it was fine. Did yours suck?
Not at all. I was just trying to make someone else's better. Won't be happening again.
Won't be happening again. Alright.
Yeah, I won't be telling you. I hope you have a nice day. Pretty self-explanatory.
Lol, I see. You doing alright.
Better than you, without question.
Well, that one was just weird, wasn't it? Clearly this guy is more than a little short on even the most basic of social skills. Like, from the very outset, starting a conversation with, "I hope your Wednesday hasn't sucked," is a pretty puzzling choice. It immediately sets a negative tone for the conversation, which is not generally a good idea when you're trying to put the other party at ease and initiate a friendly dialogue. But credit to the woman. She does her best with this rather awkward conversation starter, and naturally turns the question back to him. Seems pretty reasonable, right? Yet somehow, and I really can't figure this one out, the guy takes this as an insult or something, and becomes weirdly sullen, and this persists for the whole rest of the conversation. So basically, he asked a strange question, got an answer, and was asked the same question in return, then randomly decided to go into his shell and resort to rude passive aggression. Makes sense. I don't even know what to say. Really, this guy needs to get lessons on basic social etiquette or something, because even outside of a romantic setting, it seems like it would be impossible to even have a conversation with him. So, yeah, I think the dating profile might be putting the cart before the horse a bit. Because if his mastery of the social basics is this limited, it's pretty hard to imagine him finding even a modicum of success. I kinda feel sorry for him, if I'm being honest, but that's my honest opinion. So there's no point in sugarcoating things. It just is what it is.
Just want to share this story with whom I may have the same experience. The reason I loved a single mom was that I believe in second chances, and they deserve to be loved again. Take note of the second chances. I courted her with her daughter, and get to know her parents and relatives. Gave her surprised flowers, jewelry, food, and video edits on how much I appreciate her. Her struggles are my struggles too. Skipping to the after 1 year of courtship, she said yes to me. I felt like I was the luckiest man in the world to get that sweet answer from someone I admire. No kidding. But after 4 months, we broke up, we argued, and she broke up with me. Miscommunication, long distance relationship, COVID restrictions. I tried to pursue her with consistent good morning and good night chats. Gave her love letters, food, and a beautiful bracelet. I told her I was sorry. Because you know when you work that, yes, you try to fight it, even if the odds are against you. I loved her, and accepted her flaws. I wanted to save our relationship. It doesn't matter to me whose fault it is. I apologized, and completely took responsibility, because it's my job. It's a man's duty. I want to keep her for life. But rather giving us a chance, she told me that she doesn't give second chances. Even today, it still haunts me, knowing that the reason I loved her is because I believed in it in the first place. Now I felt pissed, seeing other guys get the chance. even if they cheated. How ironic life can be. Any thoughts? Somehow, I learned to let go. When she said to me that I should stop, I was acting it all tough. When I came and talked to her in person, but she really closed doors on me. I was thinking of, why did she give up on me that easily? Is it because I'm a simp? And girls don't take that seriously? And is it true that nice guys always finish last?
Man, despite his best efforts to appear as saintly as possible, this guy really rubs me the wrong way, and I'm inclined to believe that his girlfriend dodged a bullet in getting away from him when she did. The biggest red flag in the post is that the guy describes his decision to enter into a relationship with a single mother as giving her a second chance. Because excuse me, but in what way are you in a position to be giving her a second chance? She hasn't done anything to you. Having had prior relationships is not a crime. And neither is having children. So on what possible grounds are you assuming any position of moral superiority? Or presuming to forgive her? Get real. Don't get me wrong here. I understand that not everyone is going to want to take responsibility for someone else's child. Especially if you don't have any children of your own. And I don't think there is anything wrong with this. Unfortunate though it may be for the single mothers out there, you are within your rights to consider children a deal breaker. And it does not make you a bad person to choose not to enter into such a relationship. What does make you a bad person, in my opinion, at least, is to start a relationship with someone who has children, but treat this decision on your part as an act of charity. And dangle some twisted notion of forgiveness over your partner, despite them having done nothing wrong, and you having full knowledge of what you were getting into from the very beginning. Because all this serves to accomplish is to make your partner feel insecure and obliged to you, and thereby cause them to overlook your more problematic behaviors, which might serve your selfish interests just fine, but is pretty much the opposite of how a healthy relationship should function. Another big red flag in the post is this guy's description of his attempts to endear himself to the woman. I know that all couples have different ways of expressing their affection for one another, and different ideas around what is normal, but the endless barrage of romantic gestures, the flowers, the jewelry, the relentless messages, all just sounds super overbearing. And I can see why she would have felt suffocated and wanted to get out. Like, romance is one thing, but people need to be able to breathe and have space to reflect on the relationship and what they want. Constantly showering your partner with this kind of over-the-top affection isn't supportive, it's just manipulative, and honestly, it's no wonder she got spooked. There's a lot more to unpack in this post, but I don't have time to respond to all of it, so I think I'll just respond to one more snippet that really aggravated me, and that is the part where he says that he apologized and took responsibility, because it's a man's duty. No, it's not a man's duty to take responsibility. It's the person who was in the wrong's responsibility. And if that person is you, then you're taking responsibility because you were an asshole, not because you're a noble man, sacrificing on behalf of the relationship. Give me a fricking break. The reason this nonsense bothers me so much is because not only does it uphold the BS gender norm that men are expected to just shut up and take it, regardless of who is in the wrong, but it also totally undermines the authenticity of his apology. Because if you're apologizing not because you can see what you did wrong, and you feel bad about it, but because you're a man, and that's what men do, then that's not a real apology. Is it? It's just another way for you to assert your unearned moral superiority over her. And it's obnoxious as frick. All in all, this guy seems like a manipulative, narcissistic douche, and I'm glad that his ass got dumped. Anyway, moving on.
Hey, I've been meaning to ask you something. You don't gotta reply, if you don't want to.
Oh.
Okay, here it goes. When you get back, do you want to maybe go to dinner with me? Like as a date? It's okay if the answer is no. I'm cool with it. I just figured I may as well shoot my shot. No.
Hair, I'm so sorry. I thought you knew this already. But I'm kind of already seeing someone else right now.
Redacted. Nice guy's best friend.
Well, yeah, lol. Sorry. I really thought you already knew.
He says you guys aren't dating.
I mean, it's not anything serious LMAO. But it'd be a little awkward to go out with you while I'm also seeing him. Either way, I'm really sorry if you got the wrong impression.
Is it not awkward that you're seeing him while he's also linking? Redacted. Plus you're home now, so it's not like you two are going anywhere. He'll understand.
I don't know what you've heard, but he's definitely not linking. Redacted. LMAO. She has a boyfriend, and I'm pretty sure there's a difference between that and you dating someone who was with your best friend. I like hanging out with you, but I'm not really interested in being more than friends. Sorry.
Because of. Redacted. Lol.
No, I'd just rather remain friends. If that's okay.
I'm just saying, I'd treat you way better than. Redacted. I know how he is with girls. And he's never going to want anything serious. He's got at least 5 sneaky links. Beside you.
Cool. Like I said, we're not exclusive or serious or anything. So that doesn't really matter, to be honest. I really don't want to talk about this anymore. You said you'd be cool with remaining friends. And that's what I'd like to do.
Suit yourself. Don't come crying when he plays you.
Bruh.
I wouldn't want STDs anyway.
Jesus frick, dude. I'm ending this convo now.
Ha ha, wow. He really went through all of that just to try to play it off at the end and accuse her of having STDs. I don't know, man. I think it's going to take a lot more than that for you to turn this giant L into a W. Pathetic. I don't really have that much to say about this one. In all honesty, I mainly just thought it was a funny conversation to include. It was especially funny seeing how he started off with the "you can say no, it's fine, I'll be cool about it" routine, only to refuse to take no for an answer for like a dozen more messages. Classic nice guys trademark stuff right there. Saying something to try to make yourself look nice is one thing, but actually following through on it is, as always, another thing entirely. I guess my other takeaway from this one is for the men who are listening, of which there probably aren't that many, considering my audience demographics. But oh well. Anyway, the message is, take a good look at your close male friends and make sure that they're real ones. Because clearly there are men out there, just like this one, who are really just along for the ride. Snakes in the grass, who would gladly throw you under the bus if they thought that it would get them laid. It's an unnerving thought, no doubt about it, but such men do exist. This post alone proves it. So keep your eyes open, lest it be you getting trashed by one you considered a friend. Next, size. Sad times, man. Sad times. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed these posts and that you got something out of my commentary. What do you think? Should mediocre women stop trying to pursue men who are more objectively attractive than them? Hope your Wednesday hasn't sucked. A good conversation starter. Is it a man's duty to take responsibility, regardless of who was actually in the wrong? Can any of us truly trust our closest friends in these troubled times? Let me know in the comments. And let me know which of these lovely gentlemen most captured your heart while you're at it. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or it'll go behind your back. and trash you to the person you're going out with, so that I can steal them away from you. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.